Everyone thinks they want to move to Detroit. You know, the comeback story, the Renaissance, the days of buying houses for $10 or even city blocks for that matter. But here's the reality. Here's what really happens. We go downtown, we look at some lofts, and then they end up buying a house in Royal Oak or Birmingham. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. My name is Eric Meldrum, and my team and I have helped tons of families relocate here to Metro Detroit. And I can tell you this, you know, most people don't want to live in the city of Detroit, okay? They do want the Detroit lifestyle with the suburban reality. So in this video, I'm showing you exactly how to get both. Plus the 7 things that will make or break your move here to Metro Detroit, whether you're coming from California, Texas, New York, or anywhere else in the country. This is your complete guide. Let's dive into it. All right, so first we really need to understand Metro Detroit, and I want to clear something up really quick. When I say Metro Detroit, I am talking about the region of 4.3 million people spread across counties like Oakland County, think Birmingham, Royal Oak, Northville. Then you got Wayne County, think Plymouth, Canton, Dearborn, and then Macomb County, think Rochester Hills, Clinton Township, and then think parts of Livingston and Washtenaw County, okay? Brighton, Saline, Ann Arbor, Dexter, and depending on where you land in this metro, your experience could be completely different. You know, a house in Detroit proper, that's one lifestyle. A house in Grosse Pointe, that's another lifestyle. Then a house in Northville, that's a third lifestyle. So when people ask me, should I move to Detroit? I always ask, which Detroit are you talking about? Like actual Detroit or the suburbs, Metro Detroit? So in this video, we're gonna talk about what actually matters for moving here. All right, so let's talk about finances and how far your money can go. You know, what you get in Metro Detroit, especially compared to some of the coastal cities, LA, San Francisco, you know, New York, just a few of them. What you get in Metro Detroit, it's wildly different. Okay, not just the value of the home, but I'm just going to use a kind of an average $500,000 home. We'll get you into most of these areas. You know, if you're looking in Royal Oak or Ferndale, for example, you do have a walkable downtown. You got a trendy, you know, restaurant scene, nightlife, kind of a younger vibe over there. Think coffee shops, breweries, walkable downtown. Or if you're heading over to cities like Birmingham or Northville, you know, you got top-rated schools, great downtowns. Think country club options, classic suburban luxury. Like there's really nice homes, really cool areas as well. And then if you're looking in like the Canton, Livonia area, think newer builds, you know, bigger lots. These are family communities, and you still have about $100,000 left over in these particular cities. But if you're looking in Ann Arbor, for example, you know, you got the University of Michigan, you got high education, high income earners, but you're paying a premium in these areas. Same metro, but totally different lifestyle. And that's the beauty of Metro Detroit. You know, you do have options, but here's where things get really interesting. Property taxes are super interesting here in Metro Detroit, and I'm going to categorize this as a con because property taxes reset when you buy your home. And this catches people off guard every single time. You know, Michigan property taxes, well, they're just complicated, okay? That's the reality. We've got something called the Hadley Amendment and Proposal A, which means your taxes reset when you buy your home, and they can be way higher than the previous owner paid. You know, I've seen buyers thinking they're paying $4,000 a year. Come to find out, when it resets, they're paying about $9,000 after closing, okay? And here's the move. Always check your taxable value, not just the sales price, okay? And if you're working with us, we walk you through this to make sure that you understand what the property tax estimations are, even when they reset, okay? So if you're not working with us, ask your agent for a post-sale tax projection. I have a link down below in the description of every single video that has the Michigan property tax estimator. It's a great tool, so go ahead and use that. And then compare rates by city. You can actually be paying less property taxes in that area in Birmingham compared to Grosse Pointe. But the good news is once you know the system, it is predictable. You know, no wild swings in your property taxes once you own the home, and you can actually benefit from these tax benefits as well, because when you own the home, you're not going to have this massive increase in property taxes just because your home value goes up. You have a limit on how much they can go up every single year. So, and this next one surprises everyone. And it's the location and commute times in Metro Detroit. Now, some people do find this surprising, and depends on who you talk to, whether it's a pro in their book or a con in their book. There's going to be no right or wrong answer. Some people just complain about traffic and getting around places like, wow, there's no parking spots, and it's just mind-blowing. We live in a world where everybody complains about everything. Trust me, you'll see it in the comments down below. I already know it. But here's the reality, you know, about Metro Detroit. You can get anywhere in Metro Detroit within an hour. Okay, and that's just like, if you're going from the very southwest side of Metro Detroit to the very northeast side of Metro Detroit, it might be over an hour, maybe an hour 15 or so, but you're going to be able to get around. Most places are going to take you, 30, 45 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Like we live in Brighton, getting over to Royal Oak, 35 minutes, right? With the construction right now, a little bit longer. You do have some detours, but if you compare this to cities like LA, New York, I mean, you could be sitting in traffic for 90 minutes to anything. Right? Just hop in the car and you're like, I got to get home, and it's just gridlock everywhere. So even though you do need to drive everywhere in Metro Detroit, it does give you range, and you can visit a lot of cities within 30 to 45 minutes, depending on where you're going. All right, so I want to talk about a con that we have here in Michigan, and I really don't know how to come out and say this, but like winter is real in Michigan. Okay, I want to be honest with you guys. Like we get snow. Okay, if you didn't know we get snow in Michigan, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is real, and it is long, and it sucks. Okay, there's no two ways about it. Some winters are better than others. The skies are gray. It gets dark before 6 p.m., which feels just like the days get shorter. All those things are not that fun, but there's a silver lining to this. Okay, if you can put up with some of that stuff, there's a lot of winter activities, right? Like people come here to Michigan, to go snowmobiling. It's fun, right? You go ice fishing, you got cross-country skiing, you got a lot of things to do in the winter, here in Michigan. But if that is not your vibe, just know, Eric is being honest with you. Like the winters, not fun here if you do not do any of that, okay? You're going to be inside. Maybe you're cozying up next to the fire with a book or just watching the snow. Like that's cool too. Now, I'm going to give you the same advice that I give every single one of you when we meet on Zoom. If you're experiencing winter for the first time here in Michigan, just make sure you got good boots, good coat, good gloves, a good hat, and if you're parking outside, okay, whether you're at work or just carry an ice scraper in your car. Okay, it's got the brush, it's got the scraper on one side, and the worst thing that you can do is be the guy or girl driving down the road with like this little window shoveled off of your windshield, and then the rest of your windows are covered with snow. Super unsafe. Don't be that person on the road, okay? You're going to cause an accident or you're going to get smashed into. All right, so next up, this one is a pro, and we're talking about the suburbs that still feel like communities. There are cities where people are still out and about. They're walking. They have community parties, and they want to have a sense of community. So if this is what you're looking for, the towns where you kind of look at like the Friday Night Lights football game, everybody's at the football game, then they're going to the coffee shop or the diner afterwards. Like there's those type of cities, right? There's bigger cities than just that as well. But cities like Plymouth, Northville, Rochester, Birmingham, South Lyon, these towns still feel like towns. They got the farmer's market. There's actual sense of community. And if you're craving real connection after living in a big city, the Metro Detroit suburbs kind of feel like a reset for a lot of people. But here's the reality check, and this is a con. The cities that I just talked about, these best suburbs here in Metro Detroit, they are super competitive. Okay, so when it comes to the real estate market, this might surprise you, but the best suburbs of Metro Detroit, like Northville, Birmingham, Rochester Hills, Plymouth, they are still getting over asking price, multiple offers on homes. Even going into 2026, we're still seeing this, even in the winter months. Okay, you want to make sure you understand the real estate market, what cities you're moving into, and the earlier you start working with someone like us who knows the area, you're better positioned to win in this market. And here's why all of this matters, and this one's a pro. You can actually build a life here. Okay, this is what nobody talks about. Metro Detroit isn't just affordable, it's livable. And you've got world-class healthcare, you got University of Michigan, Beaumont, Henry Ford, well, it's now Trinity for a lot of the hospital systems, but nonetheless, we got incredible school districts across multiple suburbs here in Metro Detroit. You got major employers, not just automotive anymore. You got Google here, Microsoft, Quicken Loans. There's tons of healthcare systems. You got easy access to Metro Detroit Airport, which connects you everywhere. It's an international hub, plus tons of other stuffs like lakes, parks, and green space everywhere here in Michigan. It's an absolute playground. All right, let's talk job market here for a second. If you're in tech, healthcare, finance, or automotive, this is a legit market. Okay, Metro Detroit is legit in all these categories, education as well. Remote workers, well, a lot of remote work opportunities in Metro Detroit. And if you don't have to be in the office, well, you got access to pretty much every employer in the United States, and you get the space, affordability, and access to everything here in Metro Detroit. And best of all, people settle here. So if you're looking for a place to actually be present where kind of time slows down a little bit, we can get into the city, get that, sense of like downtown, and then head back out, into the suburbs, and it's the best of both worlds. So the major question is, do I live in Detroit or the suburbs? And here's my honest take after helping a lot of families, decide whether Detroit or the suburbs are the best fit for them. Live in Detroit proper if you want walkability, nightlife, you want that urban energy, and you're okay with ongoing development and some rougher edges around Detroit. You value the culture, you want the story, you want the arts, you want to be in the mix, right? Like you got to want to be in it, right? As it's growing, it's not perfect. But if you want something else, live in the suburbs if you want top-rated schools, established neighborhoods, you want a little bit more space and yard in a garage. You want predictability and low crime stats and kind of a small town feel. And most of my clients, well, they end up choosing the suburbs, not because Detroit isn't great. So should you move to Metro Detroit in 2026? Well, only you can answer that. But here's what I'll tell you. Metro Detroit isn't flashy, you guys. It's not trying to be the next Austin or Nashville, even though I think downtown Detroit may be the next major city that becomes a destination, okay? And I'm quoting this right now. Detroit, what they have planned for the riverfront down there is absolutely insane. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm gonna have more videos on that. But for the right people, downtown Detroit, if you want to live there, is exactly right for you. The value, the space, the community, the access, it all adds up. So if you are serious about making that move here to Metro Detroit, whether it's in 1 month or 1 year from now, do not hesitate to reach out. You can contact me. All my contact information is down below in the description, or better yet, schedule a Zoom call using the link below. We'll walk through the cities that match your lifestyle. We'll take you through what to look for and how to make this move without any stress. So if you want more things living here in Michigan, go check out these other videos we got, and I will see you on the next one.